live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, all social media platforms, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. This is Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Brace. In our headlines, this Ministry of Youth and Sport issues a stern notice to all foreign embassies and consulates in Ghana to seek confirmation on the true identity of all athletes applying for visas in Ghana. The caution stems from the what happened in the Norway scandal.
Never even had opportunity. Normally, even the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we don't issue letters directly to any of the embassies.
Also, minority and majority leadership clash over raging debate over a presidential debate as Afenyo Makin dares NDC MPs to advise John Mahama to face off with Dr. Baumia in a debate.
And that your MPs should not just follow your flag bearer. They should encourage your flag bearer to make himself available for a debate.
The Speaker, how can a driver mate debate an experienced driver?
Well, Ministry of Youth and Sports is urging all foreign embassies and consulates in Ghana to seek confirmation on the true identity of all athletes applying for visas in this country. Now, the caution stems from the raging controversy surrounding reports that 9 out of an 11-member team of Ghanaian para-athletes were missing upon their arrival in Oslo for the Bergring Marathon in Norway. According to a letter from the Ministry of National Security to the Sports Ministry, one para-athlete, Nana Entry, has been detained by Norwegian authorities while the coach of the team, George Jemfi Jesse, met his untimely death shortly after being admitted to the Oslo University Hospital following his collapse on 28 April 2024. However, in his address to the media today, Youth and Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf says the athletes involved were not officially representing the country. He further argued that the whole controversy could have been avoided if the Norwegian embassy had reached out to their ministry to confirm the true identity of the purported athletes.
So the ministry were not aware about any, and the team that went wasn't also representing Ghana, as it has been reported in some of the media. So the Norwegian authorities, that's the embassies, to never even had opportunity. Normally, even the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we don't issue letters directly to any of the embassies. We normally will write to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for Ministry of Foreign Affairs to then work on our behalf to any of the specific embassies or missions. I just want to use this opportunity to appeal to all the embassies and high commissions or consular offices that anytime they get any requests from any federation, and without the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration and the Ministry of Youth and Sports supporting documents, they should verify from the ministry before they take. Failure to do so, they do so on their own risks, because I could have only taken responsibility if they've notified, they've followed the protocols. The protocols is, if you want to go and engage in any competition, or even if you are not representing Ghana, you are just a federation, and you have your own competition to go and compete internationally, you follow protocols. You write to the National Sports Authority. Then the National Sports Authority will write to the ministry. In this case, I've just told you that nothing of such nature happened until I even got the reportage. We didn't know. Secondly, the Norwegian authority who issued the visas to the athletes didn't see it prudent to even verify from the ministry, because to see whether these are athletes, genuine athletes or not. So to your question, whether I'll take responsibility, I'm sorry, I can't.
So let's do more on this by bringing in, an international relations expert, Dr. Ismail Hlovo, who's been studying this. He's a lecturer at the University of Education. Winneba, Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining. There are fears of a possible diplomatic role and also Ghana's international image being soiled as a result of the latest scandal. How do we repair the situation?
Good evening to you and good evening to your viewers. Of course, in terms of Ghana's image, there is so much at stake because of what is going on. But I don't think that we are at the point where we will have diplomatic issues with the Norwegian embassy. Currently, what is happening is not so good for the image of Ghana, in as much as the minister thinks that the embassy have not done due diligence. As a nation, it is in our own interest to conduct a thorough investigation into the issue and make sure that the loopholes in our system that were exploited by the group in perpetrating these acts are closed, that those who may have facilitated the acts are brought to book. That will be sending some signal to the international community that this is not an act that we actually accept. So in as much as we think that we are not responsible, we must also understand that within the field of international relations, the Norwegian embassy may be acting under the assumption that these are genuine athletes who are in need of visa and may, by that, will not want to go full swing scrutinizing them one by one. Okay. So if you go the way we are going, the implication is that in future, when even the ministry itself submit a list of athletes, they will have to then go through scrutiny one by one, and it may delay. They will start complaining that other nations are not respecting us. So in as much as we can clearly see that there's some lapses on the part of the Norwegian embassy, we must also accept some responsibility. Because this is not the first time this is happening. There are times in the past where people apply visas to go for sporting events and they never return. Okay. So it's becoming a norm, part of our part and parcel of this nation. So you need to deal with it quickly, produce a report and produce a roadmap of how you intend to close those loopholes. Of course, the federation and all the associations relating to sports work under the Ministry of Sports. And as you can see clearly, there were letterheads from the federation that will give the embassy some assurances that these people have been scrutinized and so forth and so on. Okay. Of course, I believe that the Norwegian embassy, they will do their own internal investigation. And if there's somebody in the embassy there that may have played a role in this whole issue, that person will be dealt with. But as a country, we must also be swift in dealing with what went wrong, and sending a signal to the international community that this is not what we are into.
Grateful to you, Doc, for joining us. Now, away from that, leadership of both majority and minority sides of Parliament have clashed over the subject of a presidential debate going into the 2024 election. Now, the MPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has on a number of occasions challenged the NDC flag bearer, John Mahama, to a debate. Speaking in Parliament today, the majority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, threw a challenge to the NDC MPs to advise their leader to square off in a presidential debate if he is truly serious about returning to the presidency. But the minority have been fighting back, even insisting the vice president should rather come to Parliament and debate the mid-year budget review. There is more in the following report.
The calls for a debate ahead of the 2024 election is now rearing its head in Parliament. Both sides of the House are making significant demands in terms of how the presidential candidates going into the crucial 2024 election must avail themselves for a debate. The majority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, threw a challenge at the minority to impress on former President John Dramani Mahama, who is also their party leader, to present himself for a debate with Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
It is important that your MPs should not just follow your flag bearer. They should encourage your flag bearer to make himself available for a debate with Dr. Bawumia. Because you are, Mr. Speaker, in this election, we should make available facts to Ghanaians. And I would encourage us as parliamentarians to urge upon our flag bearers to avail themselves for a debate. We need a debate, the way we debate in this chamber.
The minority leader, Dr. Kesela Tofosin, says Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is no match for John Dramani Mahama, and that he first must come to Parliament and debate the likes of Isaac Adongo before John Dramani Mahama will be ready to debate him.
Mr. Speaker, monkeys, they say, play by sizes. Mr. Speaker, how can a driver mate debate an experienced driver? Mr. Mr. Speaker, in this House, the spokesperson for the minority on the issues of finance is Honorable Adongo. The spokesperson for the minority for the issues of the economy is Honorable Kweku Rekithagen. And the spokesperson for the budget for the minority is Honorable Ampem Dako. Mr. Speaker, we all know that the chairman of the economic management team is the vice president. So the vice president can only debate Honorable Adongo. He should debate Honorable Adongo or debate Honorable Kweku Rekithagen. A driver mate cannot debate an experienced driver. No. That is the fact. So we throw at the challenge. He should debate Honorable Adongo first, Honorable Ampem second, and Honorable Kweku Rekithagen third, before he consider debating President Mahama.
It appears the NDC in Parliament is taking very much this idea that the Vice President should come to Parliament to debate quite seriously. At the news conference, Ahmed Ibrahim, who is the first Deputy Minority Whip, threw that challenge again at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to come to Parliament and debate as the media budget review is set to begin on Thursday.
The NDC minority in Parliament is inviting Vice President Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia to participate in the debate on the media fiscal policy review of on the budget which was presented to us yesterday. The budget statement and economic policy is scheduled to take place tomorrow, and that the debate will take place tomorrow. So we are calling on His Excellency the Vice President to join the debate.
The House is expected to make comments on the media budget review statement that was presented by Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam on Tuesday. The commenting, or debate, as some will call it, will take up to 3 days and conclude next week with leadership. It is not clear if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is the NPP flag bearer, will take up this challenge that has been thrown to him by the NDC to show up on the floor and debate the media budget review statement. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Now, local miners of Adna Songhor Lagoon Association have rejected Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee's decision not to allow for renegotiation of Electrochem Ghana Limited's mining lease to allocate more concessions to local miners. Parliament in November 2023 constituted a joint committee of mines and energy as well as lands and forestry to look into the salt mining contract awarded to Electrochem Ghana Limited and advise the House on the possibility of allowing the local people mine alongside the company. This followed clashes between the company and residents who have accused Electrochem of taking over their livelihoods. The committee has concluded its work and has come out with some recommendations. My colleague James Aveji joins me via Zoom with excerpts of the report. James, let's start with the terms of reference of the committee.
Yes, so Brace, the committee had 3 jobs to do. One is to review the mining list that Parliament actually granted in November 6, 2022. 2 is to take a working visit to the site to look at things themselves. And then the third one is to recommend whether to renegotiate the deal to allow for more local content involvement in the deal. So those are the 3 recommendations from Parliament to the committee.
Okay, so let's look at the recommendation by the committee after they had done their work.
So Brace, the committee, after doing its work, recommends that first, they said that after consulting all the stakeholders on the issues, they are of the view that, one, there is no legal basis for them to recommend for a renegotiation. In fact, they indicate that when you look at the 41,000 acres concession that the Electrochem have now, they have released 1,000 acres to the community, which they are mining now. And so there's no need to renegotiate this deal. There were also issues about whether or not to look at the issues about... Brace, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Aveji.
Okay, so the committee also went further to recommend that they call something a serious security negotiation with the community in order to educate them that government has an interest in what is going on. And so it is in government interest to protect the business of Electrochem so that the residents stay away from clashing with the company. That they recommend the members of Parliament as well as the NCC and Parliament to take that job up and educate the members of the public. But I have been speaking with PRO for the Songhor Lagoon Association, Abraham Ahumatete, who tells me that they disagree with the committee's refusal to recommend renegotiation, as well as what they term as the Electrochem's continuous efforts to take their livelihood from them.
We are disagreeing with whatever they have done. Whatever, because the second day I went with them and I pointed out clear that all the laws, all the acts that they have mentioned, it does not include the PNDC law. PNDC law became like a savior for us. The PNDC law came since that day they placed the law on the edition. There was no death. There was no shoot bullet out of any gun in Songhor Lagoon by hitting anybody or killing anybody.
The committee report.
From the committee. I have not yet received it because they're supposed to give us. And if we have received it and the way you are saying is true, that is what they have said, what it means is that we will be heading towards Supreme Court of the land for interpretation to happen over there, because we are not going to agree. If it happened this way, the last sitting when I met them, I told them that I begged them with my God, I begged them with everything. They should look at the thing again and make sure they do just so that we, the people who are living in Ada, who continue to have peace. Ada is one of the whole Ghana. Ada is the most peaceful place. But because of this is what we are facing.
James, let's talk about the clashes and the death recorded.
The committee is saying that since the police are investigating those clashes, the police should continue to investigate that and prosecute anyone who will be found culpable in all of those actions, Brace.
Well, grateful to you, James. Abdul Razak Adam is Chief Executive Officer of the Electrochem Ghana Limited, and he's joining us for more on this particular, development. First, what do you make of this report from Parliament?
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
I think you're about.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. But I would like to make it very clear that the honorable members of our parliament has done a yeoman's job. I would say a terrific job in upholding the rule of law in this country and to ensuring that we are governed by law, but we are not governed by lawlessness. So if you look at Electrochem coming into existence, it's rather for the benefit of the people of Ada and for the country as a whole. I just want to put this into perspective. You realize that before Electrochem came into being, the capacity for the concession was less than 5%. The Songhor was under a management committee that was owned by the government of Ghana for the people of Ghana. However, because of the inefficient management of the concession, the production level was under 40,000 metric tons. However, since we came into being, immediately, we ramp up production to 350,000 metric tons. By the end of this year, it will ramp up to 1 million metric tons. And then in 2 years, it will be 2 million metric tons. If you put that in dollar terms, if you take the under 40,000 metric tons that was being produced, that was slightly under 80 million cedis. With the production we are doing, projected to hit 1 million metric tons, that is about $200 million US. Okay. And then in 2 years, this will go up to $400 million. Compare that to cocoa and gold, then you realize that salt is the next thing, the next biggest thing that would happen and benefit the people of Ghana.
Well, quite some good numbers there, but the residents say they disagree with the committee's decision not to renegotiate, the concession or the mining lease that you have. They feel that you're taking too much from them as residents.
So let me counter that. There is no need for any renegotiation to happen because if you look at the concession, it's about 43,000 acres. Even our own production right now is only covering about 3,700 acres. So that means that even within that acreage, a large majority of it is habitation of the people of Ada. So mining is not going to touch those areas. So the productive areas is about 17,500 metric tons. We have already given about 1,000 metric tons to the community under the community pan project, which Electrochem were using our own machinery and then creating pans for the community so they can mine side by side with Electrochem. Every month, under my desk as a CEO, I'm receiving over 10 to 20 applications for community pans, so that organized groups like the youths, the chiefs, the women group, we are building the pans for them with our resources. We invest over $10 million on brine, that is a salt water that eventually forms the salt. And then we give it to the community for free, free of charge.
Well, there's a lot more for us to deal with. But I'm grateful to you.
What is happening here is that 99% of the people of Ada are in support of this project. There is no, the small minority of people, unfortunately, they are the loudest.
I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us tonight with your views on this particular development. This is still the Joy News Prime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. Welcome back from the break. Now, family members of former President John Evans Atta Mills are vowing to deal with dismissed NDC member Korle-Bu Anyidoho. Now, there was disagreement at the 12th anniversary wreath-laying ceremony at Asomdwe Park after an event organized by the founder of the Atta Mills Institute, Korle-Bu Anyidoho, ran over its scheduled time, delaying the second event at the same venue organized by the NDC and JEA Mills Memorial Heritage. Some persons who describe themselves as family members of Atta Mills were unhappy after they were asked by security personnel to leave. Sister of John Atta Mills, Mercy Araba Kwashe, says they will deal with Korle-Bu Anyidoho and that the aggrieved group are not family members of Atta Mills. Maxwell Agbagba has more.
We're told that the first program organized by the Korle-Bu Anyidoho-led Atta Mills Institute was supposed to end before 9 a.m. to make way for the second event. Sister of the late president of John Evans Atta Mills has been addressing the issue on the podium. She says that the family is disgusted by what she describes as an ugly incident. She said they would deal with Korle-Bu Anyidoho.
That Korle-Bu has stepped on the wrong foot by tampering with our brother's grave without our knowledge. That is totally unacceptable. And now we are going to deal with him because it's a taboo in our family to do that. Whatever that you want to do, you have to consult the family, and we have to give you our approval because you have the money to go and do everything you want. Well, my brother preached Asomdwe, but some of us, we sometimes reserve that Asomdwe.
The national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, has also been speaking to the issue. He describes Korle-Bu Anyidoho and others as pretenders who are celebrating the legacy of John Evans Atta Mills. He says if the NDC is voted into power, they'll make sure that the pretenders face accountability.
Number one, let us remember Professor Mills as a man of peace and a unifier. It is unfortunate that after his death, some pretenders would want to do everything by way of remembering him, everything that he never stood for. Because of the speech of Auntie Araba, I don't intend to go further. And just to assure you that next year, this celebration will be massive. And that will be the day of accountability for the pretenders. The day is fast coming.
flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, was silent on the earlier incident. In fact, he was not present when it happened. In his speech, he said the values that John Evans Atta Mills stood for is currently absent in Ghana's governance structure. He says the NDC will restore those values if it is elected in the December elections.
It hurts deeply that we have to make reference to our dear former president in the past tense, especially at this time when his vision, his direction, and his values, which he had in abundance and which Ghana so desperately needs, are in such short supply in our country today.
Approximately 800,000 active staff members of Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital now have access to 100% free medical care at the facility through the hospital's Employee Assistance Program. Speaking at the program's launch, the Chief Executive Officer of the hospital, Dr. Opokunware Ampoma, reiterated the management's commitment to ensuring the well-being of their staff. He also expressed hope the program would be extended to include retired staff members from the hospital. Semefa Pesu has more in this report.
The Employee Assistance Program aims to support the staff of Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital with free medical care, psychological and financial assistance and legal counseling. Under this program, staff can access the hospital's facility at no cost, including medical treatment. It is the first employee assistance program in a public hospital in the country. Chief Executive Officer Dr. Opokunware Ampoma stated that management is dedicated to the well-being of its staff.
Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital is the first government hospital that has introduced 100% staff Medicare. So our staff are now enjoying 100% Medicare, and that's a start. Now we are looking at the numbers because this comes at a certain cost, because not every expenditure will be covered by health insurance. So the hospital is actually paying to provide this service, and so we are looking at the sustainability. So once we have done that, and then at the moment, dependents of staff are enjoying 50% cover. All right, so we want to see how this goes, and if you're able to sustain it, then we are going to move to 100% cover for the dependents of staff, and then we also want to extend it to our retirees.
Electrochem Ghana, the producers of Belakwa mineral water and Bell drinks, has partnered the hospital on this initiative. Marketing manager for Belakwa, Kresa Akode, indicated that the company prioritized health interventions as part of their corporate social responsibility. They decided to support the rollout of the program.
So for us at Belakwa, having a mental well-being is very key to us. Mental well-being includes, the emotional side, the psychological side. If Ghanaians don't have that same mental ability, it affects how they behave, how they think, and for us at Belakwa, consumers are very dear to us, Ghanaians are very dear to us. So any activity that actually has to do with supporting the mental well-being of citizens is something that is very dear to us. And so coming to Korle-Bu and then hearing the CEO talk and other guests and everyone, really encourages us to do more.
The hospital management hopes to extend the program to the families of their staff members and retired staff.
Now, Erastus Asaridonko of Multimedia Group Limited has reiterated his concerns about the severe risks posed by illegal mining, highlighting the lack of political determination to effectively combat the menace. Speaking at a news conference hosted by the University of Ghana School of Law, the 2022 GJ Journalist of the Year emphasized the involvement of state and political figures in illegal mining activities as a major hindrance to progress in tackling the problem. Kenneth Jesse has more in this report.
Erastus Asaridonko pointed out that weak enforcement by regulatory bodies further exacerbates the issue, making efforts to control illegal mining largely ineffective. He expressed deep concern over the significant damage caused by galamsey to the nation's water resources, which is already evident. He warned of an impending health crisis if the problem is not addressed, as the contamination of water supplies could have severe consequences on public health.
In fact, I believe strongly, and per my investigations on the field, evidence point to the fact that there are politically exposed people within government, influential people in society engaged in the illegal mining business. And that is why we are not finding any lasting solution to the problem. We have tested the PRA River, which is being treated by the Ghana Water Company Limited. We've seen high levels of arsenic, cadmium, chromium, lead, and other poisonous heavy metals in the water. We have asked the Ghana Water Company, is your treatment process able to take away heavy metals? The answer was no. If no, it means that what is being pumped to homes carry a certain amount or level of poisonous heavy metals.
Associate Professor of Law at the University of Ghana, Kojo Appiagyetria, said the students want the various political parties to include in their manifestos a clear roadmap to fighting galamsey, a major reason they organized the forum.
Being an election year, they want the parties' manifestos and parliamentary candidates to take note of that issue and raise it as an issue that people should think about and use it as a basis to determine who should win power and come to power, and that to take that as a very important issue that constitutes an essential threat to the states.
With most forest reserves fast depleting and water resources getting highly contaminated by illegal mining activities, the event served as a platform for discussing potential solutions and galvanizing support for more concerted action against illegal mining.
And Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, and the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountant. Also by the Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. Now, some members of the governing New Patriotic Party in Seshiriuoso constituency of the Western North region have staged a protest against the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. This comes after the Speaker walked out the Member of Parliament for Seshiriuoso, Dr. Korle-Bu, over comments the Speaker described as rude. The aggrieved party sympathizers say the conduct of the Speaker amounts to gross disrespect to the MP and the people of Seshi. MPP Constituency Secretary Atama described the Speaker's actions as unfortunate and demanded an unqualified apology to the MP and the good people of Seshiriuoso. They have given the Speaker a week's ultimatum to render an apology to the MP and the good people of Seshiriuoso or face their wrath.
Parliament, you were standing orders. Standing order 35.
Dr. Korle-Bu was only expressing his opinion. So why must he be sacked from the chamber?
Standing orders 129. Procedures are our parliament.
We are demanding an apology from the Speaker. He must apologize to Dr. Korle-Bu for the action he took.
Sanka Yewra Alban Sumana Babin Kingsley. Or no, for the past 24 years, what's in a parliament? No one speakers of parliament and some no.
Alban Bagbin has been in parliament for long. He should have used his experience from former speakers.
No, because I'm ready to finish or tena parliament. Now, I can say, impeach the president of the land.
We are really worried. I had sleepless nights because of this issue.
Now, judges on the Justice for All program were left in shock after being presented an inmate who has spent 5 months in prison custody after being discharged by a court. The inmate was discharged by the Nkawia Circuit Court in February this year, but was returned to the Kumasi Central Prisons by investigators. Steering Committee Chair of Justice for All program, Justice Angelina Mensah-Homia, who came across a similar incident at Electrochem 2 years ago, is cautioning against repetition of such incident. Nana Yao Jima was at a setting of the Justice for All program at the Kumasi Central Prisons and has filed this report.
The gentleman whose name is being withheld went into incarceration 5 years ago on suspicion of robbery. After going through the judicial process, the accused was discharged by the court and his case struck out. A court, when remanding an accused person, must sign a warrant to be admitted to prison custody. The steering committee of the Justice for All program is therefore questioning the documentation by which the accused was readmitted to prison.
Why and how did the person enter the prison premises when a court of competent jurisdiction has struck out the case and discharged him? Does it mean that if he had not come to the prisons today to raise this alarm, he would still have been in there? Already he has overstayed for 5 months. Just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, this can happen to your relative. It can happen to my relative.
In a response to the incident, Acting Officer in charge of the Ashanti Region Prison Command, CSP Alex Ejay, explains conditions under which the suspect will be admitted in the prison.
I'm even surprised about the leadership about this guy in Nkawia case, but it is not our fault. Whenever the warrant, so far the warrant is genuine and you are here, we don't know anything until the police come for you.
Justice Homena had worry written all over her face as she described the incident as injustice. She further entreated police investigators and the prison service to ensure the incident is not repeated.
It will be the very last incident that we will encounter. We encountered one in Mampong, Electrochem, 2 or 3 years ago, where the person had overstayed for 5 years after the court had discharged him. This is my second encounter. And so Ghana Prison Service and investigators in particular, I wouldn't want a third encounter.
Meanwhile, statistics from the Ghana Prison Service has revealed the total prison population in 2018 stood at 14,910 against the authorized nationwide capacity of 9,875. Overcrowding rate was pegged at 51%. By May 2024, the total prison population stood at 14,647 against authorized nationwide prison capacity of 10,265, with the overcrowding population being pegged at 42.6%. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's do showbiz now. And Becky Bex is here. Hi, Becky. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I am good.
I have Esther Smith in the news this evening. Veteran gospel musician Esther Smith is ready for her first concert in Ghana after moving abroad over a decade ago. According to the singer, the concert will be held in 2 parts. The first in Kumasi on August 25 and in Accra a week after. The highly anticipated gospel show will take place at the Church of Pentecost, Bantama and Perez Dome in Accra, respectively. Singers like Pastor Joe Beecham, Lady Prempe and Makinim Yuenchi will join younger acts like Joyce Blessings and Kwekute at Esther Smith's concert, blending the best of both old and new. Esther Smith is a gospel musician born in Kumasi, Swami in the early 70s. Esther joined the Tesano Methodist Church choir at the age of 14 years old and grew into music scene at the church. She won the award for the Best Gospel Album of the Year, Gospel Artist of the Year, and Best Female Vocal Performance of the Year in 2003 at the Ghana Music Awards. So this is the concert you should be looking forward to.
Yeah.
You have any songs that you know of Esther Smith?
Yeah, there are a couple. I cannot just recall the lyrics, but one is playing in my mind, in my head now. Oh yes, yes. Oh, you should have told me earlier. Then I could have practiced some my Esther Smith songs.
Whilst you're
has...
trying to remember the song, which you will sing later on in the bulletin, let's talk about Changes. Changes, it had a successful premiere on Joy Prime this afternoon, and we have all the highlights for you here on the show.
Welcome to the show. My name is Eddie Blade. This is that kind of thing. And that was the kind of thing that blew people away.
If you want to put yourself out there, then know what you're putting out there. Make sure it's worth it.
You can be the person that directs the mind of the mob.
We can now wait for Changes season 2.
What was that?
Yeah, that's the reason, more reason why you should, stay tuned to Joy Prime to watch Changes with the beautiful Rosalind Felly. But on Spotlight this evening, I have a comedian. He's called Comedian Unknown. Comedian Unknown, really. So he's sharing his journey in the comedy industry with us and also all the plans that he has for the industry.
The Savior, when choosing up quickly, it might not even be up to 1 minute. So please, if you're 1 minute man here, the Savior is with us. We are together. So don't kill yourself from now on. Do your best and leave the rest. Jesus.
I have one of the interesting characters that I have come to love, Comedian Unknown. Really, Comedian Unknown, you already mentioned that people really confuse, that unknown name. But really, how is it going for you?
Yeah, the fact that you now know me is a plus. And if you love me, then we have to talk after because they don't love me like that. If you love me, say yes. You have.
The last time I watched your set on Basketball's events, you did fantastic.
Oh, really?
You didn't get the reviews?
Oh, I got. Yeah, I got. It was.
You've been doing this for how many years?
Years. Okay. Roughly, I came into the scene fully. That was 2 years ago. But I've been doing try and error, coming and going out for like almost 5 years. But I said I would come into it full time. That was 2 years ago. And I started from the comedy club 2927, and that was how come. Yeah, but we thank God the big guys, they mentored me. Obi Aponsa, they call me. I always call their name. Yeah, Kojo PJ, like they held me. I wasn't this good, but determination. Yeah, I'm trying. I think as of now you enjoy my show, so I think that's. But I think they should expect to see me on a bigger platform. Yeah, and I'm going on a tour, senior high school. I'm working on it. Yeah. So maybe I'll come to you for media partnership and all that. Yes, I think this is the first time a comedian. Normally it's the music tour we know. So I'm working on a comedy tour to senior high. Yeah, so it's on the pipeline.
What's the title of the tour?
No, I'm looking at Laughter Riot. Riot or Riot Laugh. Yes, I'm still. Yes.
I've started Ramadan 1 year ago. And I know I can't take it. I thought the stigmatization. Hey.
And Showbiz here, do you still have the song in mind? Well, remember to brush your teeth in the day and at night with Pepsodent, because with Pepsodent, every smile matters. Right?
You got me there today.
Please log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you find all the news, the credible news. Please stay with Joy News because we are credible, independent field.
All right.
We're out.